Hey, salute! Our future is bright. Or is he pretending to be Ray Charles or Stevie Wonder? Yes, indeed. So bright, it's the welder goggles that are making the debut again today. Yes, we're going to be talking crypto. It's the crypto sniper. We're going to be talking crypto today and a key move that occurred that flagged a particular direction. And we have a feel for where we think that's going. You're going to find that out right here, right now on this series. And we're here to tell you how your weekend's going to pan out on the crypto and into the new week as well. So welcome, welcome. Quick share and like if you would. We like numbers. There's no ads on this channel and we appreciate you if you do that. All your crypto buddies, share the word. We're going to be talking and we're going to be starting with Ethereum. But before we go to the chart, a little bit of commentary for you for the backdrop of where we are in this crazy world, this crazy economy. Let's go full eyes on the front and tell you about what's been happening. So, mounting fundamental risks for hyperinflation and systemic inabilities promise new highs for gold, silver, and wait for it, crypto with the C. That's right, the crypto sniper. Irrespective of any August sell-offs that might have happened in the precious metals and little lulls that we've had in crypto. We've got a historic GDP collapse. That was the better part that took back, in fact, the last 5 years of economic growth. That's right. Your manufactured pandemic took back the last 5 years. Second quarter 2020, we're talking US, the big economy, the real GDP plunged at an unprecedented, albeit consensus annualized quarterly pace of 32.9%. You see how they just kept it on the right side of that little 33 Freemasonic number. It collapsed, wait for it, 32.9%. I think it was 33%. I think the little secret societies were quietly masturbating in the corners while they threw out their numbers for this year. Anyway, that was the annualized rate, down year on year by 9.5%. That is huge. That is unprecedented. You didn't get that in the depression of the 30s. So we're giving you all the highlights, reasons to be cheerful. Monty Python sketch almost. Yes, given limited quality hard data, the headline as reported to consensus. I love that it was consensus. Everybody agreed. Yes, we came down 32.9%. Yes, it wasn't an overshoot. It wasn't an overshoot. The fact that we lost a third. Never happened before, but anyway, so delighted. You should feel comforted that there was consensus. Consensus that we properly crapped the bed like never before. Anyway, benchmark GDP received a boost from new trade deficit reporting gimmicks. So statistical skullduggery. That is why we did the gold extreme case for gold, which also applies right here for the crypto channel as well, in terms of the amount of money that is being proliferated in accordance to the 1982 Ronald Reagan, way back when. At least you had a president that made you laugh every now and then for all the cookery and chicanery. Yeah, way back then, the measures of money supply that applied way back then. Go and check it. Even if you're a hardened crypto only guy, it shows you the actual value of your dollars deflated by the 1982 rates instead of accepting the Bureau of Labor Statistics, that propagandist Bureau of Deception and Skullduggery and Fake Mathematics. Yes, so we don't believe you. We like John Williams' stats, which is essentially based on 1982 numbers. What else have we got? So the rebound from your pandemic-driven economic collapse is almost already faltering. Hence, we've got to do more. More. Rhymes with bore. M-O-A-R. That's right. We've got to do more, and we already got to do it. And that's after doing 3 trillion in about 3 months. Never before QE of that scale. You might be saying, hey, when's the crypto bit? This is important. This is the crypto bit. That's what everybody needs to understand. And an L-shaped economic recovery has begun to take form. Now that's quite funny because L ain't a recovery. L is you dived into the pool and there was no water. And then you went clunk on your skull, snapped your neck, and skidded towards where the water vent is. That's an L. That's an L. There's no rebound. There's no splash. There's not even a dead cat bounce. An L is a splat. That's right. And you then continue in a rather splattered out state. And an L-shaped recovery is almost assured until the doctor comes with both a vaccine and new fiscal medicine. Such a kind doctor. Never trust the government doctors. Oh, dear me. So labor market stress has intensified. Unemployment claims gyrate. People are being paid to sit at home. That's right. How's that for productivity? This is your brave new world. UBI is already through the door, guys. It just isn't official by name and guaranteed monthly, providing your score, your social score, is in order. You've had your chip and vaccine when you're supposed to. Okay, US sovereign credit rating rumblings mount as Congress and the White House negotiate. Pelosi and Trump, oh, they're probably laughing at us all, negotiate a second round of massive expanded deficit spending. What does all this mean? What does all this mean? It means all fall down, good people. The Federal Reserve's record money supply expansion continues, despite benchmark money numbers showing minimally slower growth. So more stimulus, more debt, muted reaction. It's a case of you've given so much heroin to this victim, nothing makes him high anymore. Just to survive, you keep having to double his dose. This is moribund. Right, now let's look at the charts. Coming up in the top corner, we start with Ethereum, the boss of the alts. And the key interesting thing about this, lovely people, is that Ethereum was in a holding pattern. It bumped into its $400 level. And it also bumped into the Bitcoin bumped into the 12K level. Both these things occurred and it took some steam out of the market for cryptos. So what's actually happened since is we've been waiting. Which way will it be? It could have been a downside. We had to consider it. We did consider it. We discussed it in the premium community. At some stages it looked more likely than the upside. But at the end of the day, what the chart and the market does is what we then believe. There was a breakout move coming, and it was just a question of feeling more confident on direction. We weren't super confident of the long until very late, and it literally started moving. As I say, we contemplated the bear. We didn't stick our necks out. We said, when we don't know or we're not sure enough to have a probability assessment, we will wait and let the market confirm the move. And very soon as it started to happen, this structure started to take place. We're on the 3 hourly. That was an odd time. I know, I like odd numbers. 3 hourly, and we're in the orange. The key thing that had us a little bit concerned was there's this quite convex nature. A lot of hang time across the top. Sometimes that can lead to spillers to the downside. So you can't say for sure that this is continuation. We bias to continuation. We're not reversal traders. But every now and then you get a treacherous continuation one that could have meant slap in the face had occurred there and you're getting a first structure and a new trend. That was our concern. Anyway, once the market started to move, we didn't doubt it. So we got this nice little primer scream, little squeezy screaming at us. And it started to move, and very quickly, thanks to alerts and various other things, we said, it's decided and it's going up. And chasing in, we saw the $400 run, key significant level. And this has all essentially been about this big level here. And that is essentially Bitcoin's 12K, which it's yet to properly probe above and make, but I think will come. And I think Ethereum has been a bit of a leader in terms of this key move period now. So you might get, if Bitcoin starts its move and starts to go and starts to head for 12K, you might get the Bitcoin complex doing okay. So the looky-likey Bitcoins, Litecoin, SV, BCH, BAB, Bitcoin Cash, you might see them all move. And some of those might give you a bigger percentage move. If you have the right level, you're nimble enough, there's enough liquidity. Bitcoin Cash is probably the highest liquidity of the other options. So there's things you can consider. If Bitcoin moves, Ethereum being a bit of a leader. Wow, Link has been the star though. I've got a small holding in it and I'm kind of like, man, I wish you'd throw more patterns down for us to jump in. We had a falling wedge on Link. We'll have a look at its chart in a bit. But Ethereum, we've biased for a long time and we've continued to hold. And you've continued to be rewarded. Continued to be rewarded. Can you see? This is what a bull bias gives you. Continue to be rewarded. Even if you'd got in down here at the 220s, you're now looking at something that's 420. You're talking close. And if this target that we're talking about being hit, you're talking most definitely beyond. And the 220, we gave it to you a long time ago on this channel with bias Ethereum, and before when we said the alt market is coming, Ethereum's one of your best bets when we showed you the FBTC chart. And at that time, you could get ETH at 2.2s, 2.3s against BTC. Now it's through the 3.6s. You could get the overperformance of a very liquid coin that you can jump in, jump out, trade against fiat with leverage on MEX and on Binance and get good fulfillment and outlier performance. So where does this go? We're seeing a 477 run that will probably knock on the door of the 500s. Could the 500 become the new 400? In other words, the next step for a major resting point for Ethereum. I think there's possibility of that. By the way, does that mean, and I need to be real clear about this because there's all sorts of quality of people coming on and watching this. I did a macroeconomic study on gold of multi-year dimension with the shadow stats, which is looking at the 5 years from now potential of how far and what dollar valuation that might be. I released that YouTube after gold had made and silver had made their big wind up targets, and they went into a pullback the next day. And then I had all the wet blankets coming on and crapping over my feed about, yeah, you just left the super macro story about bullish gold and look, the market's gone down. And I'm like, we're expecting that. We saw the level. I get a study out that I've done over a weekend. I get it out as soon as I can to anybody to see. It's not a timing for now video. It's a super macro study. That's what happened. And I'm saying to you, just because we're talking about this now doesn't mean Ethereum can't do a little visit back down and you should be charging in long right this minute. We're just saying we expect it to run that level. Now the journey path doesn't mean straight line like that. I'm afraid not. In fact, we've just cleared our first interim and our second interim. It's quite feasible you will get an opportunity. You see it as a negative. You might get an opportunity to pick it up, lower down for less. And that is going to be on you. And that's what our premium community does. You will have to decide how you're going to play that. If I'm saying to you, good probability it runs through 477, maybe knocking on those numbers that are getting very close to the 500, possibly even a toe through in a bit of a blow off. Possible, note the word possible, 477 is our probable. Who knows where it stops when it's going up and how fast it's moving when that happens. But there is a journey path for it to follow. And that doesn't mean it's a straight line vertical up. It doesn't mean because I've decided to stream here just before the weekend that I'm saying it's right here and now. When I think it's imminent, I'll say it's imminent. But it's already broken. And it's performing ahead of schedule. And it's moving fast. In fact, it deserves a rest. Could have one, but it might not. It might not. Might go straight. Okay, so hopefully everyone understands that. And you're going to have to finesse your own way in. And one of the ways you can do that is you can have a look at the smaller time frames. So let's do that. Smaller time frames, please. We'll drop to the hourly. Let's get out of draw mode first. Drop to the hourly. And see what's going on in there on the smaller time frames. You love touchscreen until it stops working when you're touching it. Let's try again. Let's try a shorter time frame. And it won't rescale. Okay, call in the mouse. There we go. Finally. Okay, so a bit of a channel here. And the channel is a weak grind. It's a bit of a warning. Because it's an upward leaning channel after a little bit of a mini squeezy with a small spill. Note how the level that we have as our interim, right there and there in the box, the blue box, is the level around which it's blown through and sitting on. It's channeled through, dipped down, dipped through, support, channel. So we'll have to see. As I've already said, scope for it to just channel around here, chill out, set up another continuation pattern, or even for this flag-like event to lead to somewhat of a pullback. So it's not necessarily a buy right now. If you're in our community, you would have caught that trigger or just after it as it was running, and you could have been in the very low 400s, if not before. But now we're sitting at 426, and there's another, in my view, $50+ to come. $50+ to come. So in percentage term, that's going to be awesome. It's going to be great. Let's have a look how it's been doing. Back to the overall crypto. Clear that face up and have a refresh and just have a look at the market cap. The real star of the last week or two has definitely been Link. Apart from a falling wedge that we saw, but it's not enough for us, which it absolutely killed it through, it's been doing pretty much okay. But if I look at this top 15, which normally has Monero hanging on, I think it's dropped to 16 after Tron's little run. But if we have a look at that, your best movers, Binance Coin never makes any sense, and Tron that's just crept into the top 15 again, which to be honest, I don't truly look at very much. So of that, I'm very happy to say second highest climber. Binance Coin is a little bit weird and counter-cyclical. It runs on its own sometimes. Sometimes it doesn't participate when the others are running. I don't know where it belongs in a box. It's a bit of a funny one. But the others, Bitcoin up 2%. XRP is actually relatively strong. And then the Bitcoin complex all in and around 3.5. Very tightly bundled. Litecoin, SV, and Cash. Cardano slipped down. At one point it was sitting up top here, and it seems to almost have changed places with Chainlink a little bit. Still got a small holding of Cardano as well as Link. Those two are the sort of newbies that are running and hot. So I think they're worth holding. They're worth holding, and it might come back again. Incidentally, it looks quite well set up. So let's have a look at some of those others. We should, of course, have a look at Bitcoin first. So let's set the tone and have a look at Bitcoin first. So Bitcoin having a bit more of a slow move up as it deals with its structure. Overall now we expect that to be an upside because of the nature of what the others have done. It's just not the quickest, most nimble guy anymore in the room. It's a bit of an old grandfather. It's taking a while to get out of its armchair. It's going, oh, where's that remote control? Help me up here, sonny boy. That's what's happening with Bitcoin. And it's kind of stepping up out of the realm. We think that actually possibly because Ethereum was in the break mode at this point, that Bitcoin itself might be in a break mode. Very bloated, lengthy second impulse here for us, which is part and parcel of all this grind up buying. Lots of dip buyers getting a bit exhausted. That means there's less people here, down here now, a lot of money that's already committed to Bitcoin. And as a result, that takes a little bit of the power out of the break. So you could have quite a low volume, insipid move that leads to the break, and it's sort of hanging around just on the top of our funnels, waiting, maybe bull flag like, to get above the key level that is the 12K, which is that blue line right across there. So that's kind of my read of Bitcoin. Slow, plodding, but likely to move up. Maybe we get a nice big surge of volume. We'll see. We'll see if it comes into the room, but not the most exciting one in the house. So hence why we've looked elsewhere. We can also just once again double verify for you the FBTC call that we made a long time ago, that you want to bias to the alts with this overall that we have here. So let's have a look at it. Use the mouse downstairs. That's it over there. And you can see how Ethereum has relatively progressed relative to Bitcoin. So over there was the beginning of the break. You could have been in and around 2.3. You're now at 3.6 and you're moving very strongly. It's been pretty single-minded. It was a slow starter around the 2.5. I remember doing many a stream where I warned you. It's 2.5 is a bit of a stall box, but once we get away, we're going to get motoring. And motoring you did indeed. You made a target and then you had your first pullback. And since then, it's just been bias Ethereum, which is a bit of a DeFi type play. There's others obviously that are strong there. I'm not the best for keeping you up to date. Too much happens. I trust the money and where it's going. And that's our key modus and that's our key USP. What is the chart showing that is running? So let's have a look at ADA. Let's run through ADA. And I will have a look at your comments as well while they do it. Mark Roberts, yep, you the man. Catch the break. Was watching it for 3 hours and fell asleep on the trigger. Ah, damn, that's unlucky, Mark. Horim, busy sniping. Falik Doctor, he has paid and given all addresses details. My goodness, don't know what that's about. Ferdinand Koza, Waves BTC should be strong. Someone wants to look at Waves. I remember that name from a long time ago. It's kind of like Neo. The once were Fabs, but Fab no more. Wait for the money. I saw a chart of Waves and it was as flat as a pancake. If there's true things happening there of significance that people respect, it will be backed with money. Money. Show me the money, Jerry. Show me the money. The money's got to come in. Otherwise, it's not interesting. Otherwise, it's crap. Otherwise, people don't care what you're doing. Become relevant. That's the problem for Waves. That's the problem for a few of them. So this was the other early jump. It had already moved quite nicely off the lows, set up a few small structures on the way, and then it got really, really rocking. It set up again and pushed out of that. And now I would assess it's in a bit of, thankfully, a downward drift bull flag type structure, which implies that it'll probably have another leg up at some point. And as it's not the current lovey, don't chase the pumpers, chase the ones that have shown they're strong and are kicking around and are being backed by money as they have a rest. So actually not a bad one to build some of your position in. I'm talking about investment now, not leverage. You need real trigger time leverage. With leverage, you need real trigger timing. You need the market to move strongly away, particularly in your hot pots. Remember, blue pot, orange pot, hot pot, spicy chili Nando sauce, all brewing with a little bit of piri piri spice. And if you play only in the spicy place, it's like living in the sauna. You die. You dehydrate and you die. You got to tax out. You got to go in, do what you need to do, and tax out. It's a place to snipe in. It's a shoot and scoot environment, and you need timing if you're going to play with the leverage. The investment side slightly different. Not a bad point to invest in and around this level for ADA, I think, as long as it keeps going. But it could have a secular down leg. I don't think if Ethereum's going to run, we've got others that are looking fairly strong. I would expect ADA to at least maintain pace. You could build your position in there while it's in that flagging, resting type price behavior. It doesn't look like it's horrible price behavior that's about to suggest a serious sell-off, just resting. So let's look at Link, the big star in the reasonably priced car. Who watched Top Gear? Whatever happened to that? It's been ages for me. The star in the reasonably priced car. I don't know if we should all enjoy it while they're reasonably priced. They might not be reasonably priced for long. Yeah, this thing is not working. I am really upset. My beautiful toy loves me not. This is the plight of technology. I need the other keyboard. So let's get Link up. We're talking chain link. And we will get it versus Binance. So this just went mental after that falling wedge. I mean, we saw it, we drew it. It's not enough for us for a trade. And what do you say? It just went mental and you're unlucky for not stacking a leverage trade on there. But we had a little bit of investment. It's done exceedingly well. Basically, you ended up, it's just changed the time frame a little bit. Daily is a bit long. There she goes. Couple of nice little structure setups. I'm going to actually reframe this side as well. Volume has got big as well, guys. Real volume. Something to notice. We're talking about Binance. Funds are Seifu. Here's your volume. This is pre-alt excitement run. So it's really picked up for your chain. There's your falling wedge break. Went into a rising channel and then just killed it out of there. Another falling wedge. Killed it out of there. Do you go buy here now? Not what I'm saying. Not what I'm saying. Okay, let's be clear. So, in fact, even price behavior wise, looks a little toppy. Although so far that never seems to last too long, but you've got a bit of broadening there. Broadening near the top. Broadening near the top, you don't have to run in. You might be able to buy cheaper. Maybe 50% retrace of the last up leg, for example. But it could even be more, depending what happens next. But if overall Ethereum is running, overall Bitcoin is getting out of its grandpa chair and having a little tottle to the toilet to empty his incontinence sack, then there's a decent chance you're going to have a continued benign and supportive environment for the cryptos, in which case full investment will be rewarded. Yes, that's the kind of thing some of the talking heads in CNBC might say, the kind of language they'd use. So, no, I don't have a link target. Someone was like, link target. I don't know. No idea. I'll wait for a pattern and then I'll trade it. If it gives on to me. Right now, it looks like it could do with a little bit of easing. That's it. No targets involved. We can have a look at it on a bigger time frame to see if there ever was something suggested, but I don't think it has the longest history. Not the longest history. There you go. It's pretty strong all the way through. What about Tezos? We had mentioned Tezos. We liked it, we still like it, but it's done fits and starts without ever being extremely powerful. It's been a little bit inconsistent, but pretty good. It's well up from when we first flagged it. That's where it's going. A little bit of a sell-off now. Let's take it down to the daily. This has a slightly bit more history. That's the structure we like. Where's that target man? The bloke demanding a target. Target. What's a target? I'm only here for the numbers. Hurry up. Give me to the target. What's the number? How much money will I make? Okay. Well, for that guy, here's your target, 55642. Sorry to keep you long. Thank you for popping in. Just kidding. We all are what we are. 55642. Overall, this is performing quite well. And continues to perform quite well. But it had its little flagging waiting period, and everyone said, now that your Tezos trade has failed. I said, what do you mean failed? It hasn't failed. It broke, it rested. It's still got to go. And then it went again. It's now made first interim and second interim. Blast. It's well on its way. Nothing failed. You failed. You lost patience. That's what happened. Get your facts straight, boy. You look mighty cute in them jeans, though, I will say. All right, back to the Tezos. So 55642, and the interim was made, and there's a lot of smaller price behavior, which we've been carving up. You can stay with us if you want to. Links below. Book a call, chat with the guys if it's your bag. And you can come and be part of the sniper squad, the squadron. I had one of the trolls refer to us as a cult. Isn't it funny? You actually have blackmail traffickers exploiting kids underage, running countries, and agents of the you-know-who squad that is a bona fide child trafficking cult. And a bloke will call out a bunch of retail traders trading the crypto and the gold markets for being a cult. You gotta laugh. Gotta laugh. Crabs only want to pull other crabs back in the bucket. They don't want to know about the overlord. They don't. So that had a little flag as well. So we highlighted the flag. There's natural geometry to charts. You made that. You had a little bit of overshoot, and now we're kicking around. Don't like the marginally higher high very much. So Tezos could fart ass around a little longer. It could fart ass around a little longer. I don't think it's about to run, but if it's a buoyant environment for the rest, it could mess around. Don't forget, it's overshot its interim really well, and it's in plenty of time. You'll learn about time stops. You need to understand the geometry of a pattern. That's only for snipers. And by the way, there's a free mini-series link below, plus coffee mugs to keep you caffeinated and t-shirts. That's the end of the shtick for all the merchandise. You can relax now. Good. What else have we got? We saw that actually Ripple was running. I don't want to encourage too many people about Ripple. So BCH and BSV, says somebody. Neon asks about it. Look at Serum New DeFi. That's iBallistic Cat. Now the really small coins, guys, I'm not going to drop into them because you've got to be able to get in and out. I'm going to be the guy who covers your top 25 most of the time in the top 10. I'm that guy. Until something proves, you don't have to be the penny coin buyer. Until something proves it's sufficiently backed that it gets into the top 25 where it can start to be noticed. That doesn't mean highly focused on, but start to be noticed. Gets into the top 15 a little bit, then it can start to get a chart's eye view. It's got to have some history of chart, because if it's a new coin, it's just got pump money that's from the ICO, and it's all manipulation. How many have you seen that have absolutely... I've still got 3 Bitcoin in Civic. I don't even know where it is. I just know it ain't, whatever it is, it ain't looking good. It used to be 3 Bitcoin. Trust me, it's worth probably a couple of Satoshis today. Who knows? And that's the last time I'll let myself... it was a punter's season, but it's the last time of any note I'd have any kind of playing in that sphere. Just because lots of small things were running, I went with it. But generally, after a good bear market like we've had, most of them never stand up again. New listings, let them prove it to me for a while. Not when they still flush with cash and they use it to buy their own coin up to try create some momentum spikes and show up on the top rises of the day. Talk to me in 6 months and let me see the patterns and the path that you're walking. That's when I'll start monitoring and get yourself into the top 25. Otherwise, you ain't good enough. That's my view. So I'm not going to drop into number 97 and 68, etc., etc. So that's for definite. A lot of people, having said that, a lot of people are big fans of VET and ask about this coin. Has had some good moves and great continuation structures on it. So this is kind of popped onto the radar of, is it ever going to be something a little bit interesting? That's on the small side. And that's what I've got for you so far. Traded up, don't like the marginally higher high. And this complex zigging and zagging, I don't feel you have to be doing anything in here. So we'll see what it does from there. Marginally higher high can go anywhere from there, sometimes a little bit toppy. So nothing doing, and that's one of those small coins. Binance Coin. We can have a look at Binance Coin because it's up today, and I can have a look at Ripple for you. But Ethereum, a pattern, a triggering event reduces the risk immensely because we no longer have directional risk. It's not a breakdown, and generally setups perform. But that doesn't mean they perform when you want them to perform. They take a certain amount of time. If you were to get in here, you're not getting in when we got in as a community, which is anywhere in the upper 390s. On this particular setup, we're already investment long way back from low 200s. But the point being, you've got to get yourself in and you've got to do it at the right time. And you're going to need some technical nous to do that. You're going to have to break into the trade. So let's have a look at Binance Coin. I'm going to need the keyboard up again. And let's have a look at how it's doing. I don't know if you guys are interested in Binance Coin. It's kind of like an exchange coin. It's a bit, don't know quite what to make of it myself. And I've never really got into it. But they are a huge exchange, and they're having a nice perky little testosterone morning glory. Binance Coin did show quite a high degree of resilience during the bear markets as well, compared to other alts. Although, as we asserted, Bitcoin dominance was the play during the bear market, and you got Bitcoin runs that the others just simply couldn't participate in. So that is that. How much do I have to make of this? If I look at it on the big time frame, it doesn't excessively excite me. I think there's other more interesting things going on. What about those that love BSV? There's a Craig Wright. That's a cult. Craig Wright cult. Who's part of the Craig Wright cult? Got a few guys that send me. He's going to crush Bitcoin. He's going to sell. He's going to open up all these wallets and he's going to do this. I go, okay, let's wait and see. I'm sure we'll see evidence for that in the charts. Still waiting. Let's get rid of that spike. That is BSV against BTC. That tells me nothing doing. Do not play. Let it be seen to operate and show some backbone of its own. It's underperforming Bitcoin, which is underperforming Ethereum by a great deal. Why would you be in a BSV? We've got a lot of crypto Bitcoin clones, and actually they wanted to piggyback off, in essence, the Bitcoin branding maybe a little bit, but they haven't done anything new. The game's moved on. It's like everybody wants to be Alta Vista, the search engine, and there's Google's now in town. So I don't know. I'm not a maximalist, but when it was the bear market, it showed me that that was the place to be if you're ever going long and short the others against it, because the brand mattered. Now it's about tech and money and other things. Not impressed. Not impressed by BSV. Let's have a look at the other one, which was BCH, which is slightly more liquid. Let's bring him up. Let's talk to him on Binance. So let's have a look at that. A little better, but far from overawingly beautiful. I did a little bit of draw and work with this when we were on the boards and we were discussing. Okay, possible if Bitcoin has its run. By the way, Bitcoin's run, if we were right about how we drew it, points to about a 13,000, still sub the 13.9 of the previous high. Not so sure I like the pattern so much. I wouldn't put as high a probability on it making it as I would the Ethereum. But it could, and possibly, but it's not quite as prissy. And this is similar. Bitcoin Cash might be, by being a higher beta, perform a little better. Again, sitting nicely with a little flag on our funnel level. It's an eccentric draw, but it has an implied target of 384.92. Again, slightly non-standard. Big bloated second impulse, disproportionate. A lot of things we talk about and we teach in our community. So again, Ethereum remains our favorite, but of course you've missed some of that. Big climb the wall of worry and smackdown. And that target is based on that geometry, which gives you a 380 from a 290. Now that one, if you felt like it, you actually are buying it on the just-in-time level, which is our green level, if this draw is correct. Decide if you want to take it. It's up to you. It's not our favorite, but I think it has potential if you're not wanting to chase into Ethereum. It has potential if you're late to the game. I do think it's supported. Little hammer sitting on here, a little bit of a rounded bottom can form, and then you could get going. Does it go the whole way? Maybe, because it'll have a higher beta than Bitcoin. So that's something else. Let's see what you say. The DEX or the coin. Ren, says Randall. Smash that like. Yes, please. We like that. Theta, says somebody. He's a Greek, I'm assuming. What else have we got? Digibyte. Yeah, so Theta we can have a look at. Digibyte we can have a wee technical look at. Litecoin we did have a look at, and I will, not on this series, I will tell you about it. It's a falling wedge. We prefer proper structure as per our requirements, but I think you will get a good little bump out of it. I think generally crypto is looking bullish. That's my draw that we shared with the community for Litecoin. This is making its third impulse, and it could have actually even been so far as a break point over here early. But typically we see three impulses in the wedge: falling wedge, upside break. You saw our friend Link came out of a falling wedge, but we prefer hunt volatility funnel patterns, full symmetrical, where the splitter line is horizontal, not descending. But actually there's been buying coming in. That's slightly lower than that. And then there was a double bottom there and a squeezy Japanesey. And your center line could have been your break, and now you've had a move. And in the same way, Bitcoin Cash is sitting on a kind of funnel top. You're waiting now for the break, which is the blue line that I've drawn, which if I were to continue to draw would probably look like that. How far does he go? No method for targeting out on wedges. Another reason why we trade the HVF, not the wedge, but I would bias to bull. If there was a macro setup that was an HVF and this was in the funnels area, definitely I'd be trading that. So it looks bullish, had a few grind and sell-offs. So the bear selling has come, but it has been supported along those lows, and then you failed to make a new low and you popped up. So Litecoin looks bullish. More than that I can't give you, but looks bullish, and I would expect further upside, probably to one of the higher of the Bitcoin complex movers by percentage. If you want to trade one of the Bitcoin complex, I would say BCH and Litecoin is it. BSV, leave it out. And that will be greatly supported by Bitcoin itself going the 12K break. So I actually prefer BCH's setup to Bitcoin's setup. So I suppose cash would be the trade. You could trade Litecoin, but then you've got to shoot and scoot. I would watch when Bitcoin Cash made its target or key levels on the HVF, which you can learn how to use if you want to join us, and then get out of Litecoin when those are met. If you think Litecoin is going to do a little more than BCH, which it might do, slightly smaller cap, maybe a slightly higher beta, it might do. But you don't have your levels for it. And that's the key thing. You'd have to rely on taking a derivative of something that does have levels. So there's a bit of risk to that. Might be a bit late on Bitcoin Cash. Zcash. So Jesse Miller asks a good question. Francis, why didn't crypto rest like gold and silver? Answer is, truth, I can't tell you. Maybe the rest for crypto was just doing nothing, because now it's moving. Silver and gold kind of rebounding to a degree now, rallying back up, and now the cryptos are going up with them, but didn't go much down with them at all. They just hung 5 inside. They did have small sell-offs when the gold turned down. They did have a couple of small sell-offs when the gold and silver turned down, but that was just within the structure of their trading range. In fact, even in their squeeze, Bitcoin, so we can get Bitcoin back up and point to those key moments. It did have some fairly steep little dips, and so did Ethereum. And this was during that period. This was rather a nasty spill, and this was occurring while silver and gold were dropping. But at no point did it threaten that low. So they are correlated. It just showed relative strength. And we don't know whether it's going to show relative strength or a higher beta excessive weakness. It could have crapped the bed and gone for a down leg to 7.5, 8K. We don't know whether it's going to do it until we see. And in actual fact, the support came in quite early and crypto didn't run lower. But if you were trading both and you don't know that before, it's sometimes better to play safe. but then you see it rallies back up, and it's still within striking range of the 12K level, while silver and gold are some way off their all-time highs that they recently made. But they will come back, in my view, and go well beyond. So this is just natural course. Don't forget, precious metals, to answer, it was a good question, by the way. It was Jesse, I think it was. It's a good question. And all the key points come out. The difference was silver and gold had, particularly gold pound and gold euro, had very, very explicit weekly mega HVF fat boy big pippy patterns. Yes, and they'd done taking their slash upwards up the wall, and they had to put the big pippy away because that was a big one, and that means there's a break now before they're going to fill that bladder up again. That was really, really substantial. So they had a true pullback requirement. They'd run a marathon. Crypto was a bit late. Crypto was a bit late relative to gold. You put Bitcoin and gold under it. Gold started running from $12.95. Put those two charts. It's been running longer and going, and that was, Peter Schiff was getting a little bit pucker and all of that. Yes, Bitcoin moved as well, but not as much. And then we stood for a long time before we broke upside while gold and silver continued to move up. You might remember that period if I just go back on a bigger time period. So it's all down. They're not equivalent. They're not directly equivalent. You remember this period here in the box. All this time, the precious metals were the trade. All this time, the precious metals were the trade. Only really just had a bottom there. Much shorter period. The COVID-19 on gold, guys. Gold had been running for already yonks. And it never got anywhere near the low. So if we have a look at, we'll just go euro. It's the second biggest currency. Same time frame. And I need to take you right down to the weekly and say, you were running from June of 19. In fact, you started to recover here. That's 18. Started to recover really quick. For us, it was a break and confirmation there, which was June of 19, but you'd already started to go up there. That was still during 18. Crypto was still in the bear all of 18. All of 18. And Bitcoin had a rally in 19. Just Bitcoin. And then came all the way back down again. This was the COVID-19 collapse. You had already been running from here up to that high. You'd already done that much on gold. You wet the bed and you rebounded and you made new highs and you finished at your target. Crypto is fresher. Started later. So it hung 5 while gold and silver was back. That was its version of a pullback. Held back. And now, as you can see, is now showing still some relative strength as silver and gold comes back. So hopefully that dealt with the anti-fiat's question suitably, because they are slightly in different cycles, even though very correlated. Where is your silver right now? 26,735. Silver is a bit fresher because silver made a low on COVID-19. Gold running way back, as I described in 18, silver actually made its low of the bear market in the lows of COVID-19. So it's just been an upside assegai since then. So it's not quite the same. And that's why I think it might recover a bit quicker as well as the gold-silver ratio goes down. But we do all the gold and the silver. We'll do it on the Market Sniper channel. But just because you asked the question, we had a look at that. Hello from India, says Arrow. How are you, Arrow? We know you and remember you well. Now they are not letting us transfer cash from banks, only online transactions allowed. Yep, they're trapping our Indian friends terribly. Your control structure is in overdrive. They want to know every transaction you make. It is how they steal from you. It is how they control you. It is how they know what you're doing. They want it electronic. They want it as records for life. Cash is your best friend, and they will kill it. But they'll kill it so slowly. They'll kill all the big notes. You can't do anything substantial, so they can say, we still got it alive. What do you mean? And you'll have like $5 and $10 notes. Try carry 2 million of worth of currency in $5 notes. And the same in whatever currency you're in. And then eventually it'll just peter out to the next generation and they'll just put it as a legacy story. And then they will have all they need to know about you under their little mitts. Control structures doing what control structures do. So good. Let's have a look. What's your, of all of these, let's have a look at some cross and then we'll conclude. We have got how many people on board? 616. Thank you very much. And out of those, 245 of you say it's awesome that there's no adverts and there's some value in this stream. Thank you for that 40%. I'm sorry to the other 60%. I'm slightly upset and hurt. A little trembling of the lower lip, but I'll try keep it under control. We're going into the weekend. Ethereum is the trade. I want to go back to it. But if you want to have a look at Ethereum against any other coins apart from Bitcoin, I'm happy to do it. But keep it in the top 10. You want to have a look at Ethereum Litecoin. In fact, it actually looks pretty good now. Even still, it might still run out. There is some evidence of buying on these candles. Most of the wicks are to the low end and a hammer. That's when you got a bit of top end. Right now, most to the long end. So you can turn into a upside channel and melt up out of it. Even though upside channels usually make you a bit nervous because you think there's a down leg to come out of it. You saw it in UDA. You saw it in Chainlink. Channel upwards. And then it just melted up out of it. If something wants to go up and there's enough people chasing it, that's what's going to happen. I don't even know the news that has been driving Chain, but there must be some news. CHZ. We do not know what CHZ is. Tricks. I'll do Tron because it made the top 15 and I don't want to be mean to everybody. But not sure about that guy. And his dapperness. He looks like a control structure kid. Yep, broadening a little bit in this up move. See, it doesn't lay down charts I particularly like. I like it when things I expect to happen, happen. This was very nervous. Lots of spiller, nasty sells, and then it pumps out of that. Normally, I would associate this volatility and this convex structure with a bit of a sell-off, but it's just pumped. So I don't feel it's been easily predictable. I mean, look at this. Convex, dips, 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 sold off. So its chart doesn't make an easy read. Some are like that. You can get a handle on some and some just seem very, very random. If we have a look at the longer time frame, that was our rally and then our spill. Let's maybe make it a bigger hour so that we can see those candles. It's staircasing its way up and it's just had a major push up now. But has it done so more than UDA? Has it done so more than Chain? Has it done so more than others? People think just because it's later that it's going to do another UDA, do another Chainlink, and that isn't necessarily the case. That was, I expect, the COVID lows, so you had all the sell-offs that went with Bitcoin and everybody else. They were all affected by that. You had the little upside HVFs all the way here. Marginally higher high was a bit caca, and then it went like this, and then it got skippy, sketchy, and then pumped. Overall, it's been in a channel recovery, but far from the most compelling. And everyone's just grabbing the highlights of this current move. Yet to take out its pre-COVID low, which if you then compare it to, let's just say Ethereum, high liquidity, pretty decent all-round performer, generally in the top 2 or 3, most times out of the top 10, top 15. Why should I be in Tron? Well, let's see if we can get a symbol for it. You want to have a look at the chart of Tron versus Ethereum, and you'll compare it to your best other alternative. And that's the chart you want to buy. So you've always got to ask. My default position is listening to Francis, which maybe you shouldn't do. Who knows? I might be a moron, or I might just be wrong on this occasion. But so far, it hasn't turned out that way for me. So you're saying to me, I'd rather be here because of this. I'm not saying you're saying that, but I'm just analyzing this for you and asking the question. Does it make sense? Does it make sense to look me in the eye and say, you know what, Francis, never mind all that you say, this looks more attractive to me. Can you see that little pink box on the bottom right corner? I'm saying, continuation is your friend, bud. Can you see the big transgender big pippy that's pointing at your little pink box? How's that for a little bit of sexual innuendo just before your weekend? Who do you want to be? Big pippy, little pink box. Someone's getting a bludgeoning, and I'm saying the Trons are it. Stay on Ethereum. That's 360-degree big pippy analysis. So, yes, a couple more questions. Louis likes that joke. Reuven likes the joke. Stuart wrecked, he says. Best online member so far I've found on online platform. Transgender, says Horim. That's pretty good. He's one of ours. You can tell. The humor rubs off after a while. He's called a transgender. I really like it. What's the reason for charting crypto against Tether rather than USD? Paul Morris asks, because everybody wants me to do the biggest liquidity platform, which is Binance, which doesn't have dollar. I actually like to do out and out dollar. And funny enough, my Tether went up against dollar. I was sitting with a little bit of Tether and it was going up. I was getting growth. So yes, it's not the perfect, but you're going to get the truth close or close about. And if you want the high volume of Binance, which most of the guys in the community like, because we do a lot of volume-based analysis, that is why we use Binance. And they only have Tether. When I just want to do pure USD, I go into Bitfinex, but it's now a smaller exchange in terms of volume. That's the answer. So why USDT? Neo, a blast from the past. Someone said Neo. Ravzan, are you the bag holder? Are you the final bag holder, Ravzan in Neo? I'm just kidding and pulling your leg. Let's have a look. We can't insult you and not help you. So we'll do it. I remember making some good money on Neo. It was actually called Ants before it was Neo, even when it was Ants. So let's see what we got. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Let's get the typing up. So Neo, and again, I'm going to do it against Tether, and we'll grab the Binance exchange. And we'll see what's going on in Neo land. Yeah. Again, the thing I'm going to throw to you is I've given you a coin that, since we said it, has non-stop delivered alpha for you. It's done way more than Bitcoin. If you went in it, you would have way more BTC valuation in your crypto. Consistently, you're actually on course for doubling your BTC at an investment level. Let's say no trading, no leverage, no hot pot, no lukewarm pot. You're Mr. Conservative. You've got a blue pot and it's a hodl pot. And you listened to Francis when he first said the alts are coming. Way back now, 2.5 months ago, and highlighted ADAB and said you can get Ethereum. If you'd got in there, you would have got in round the $200 mark, and you'd be sitting mid 400s, 426, 430, wherever you are, with a likelihood of going close to 500. If we run the 477, I can't tell you where it'll top out. We'll probably super blow off, pull back again, but it is definitely moving very far forward, and a great investment team. Why would you want NEO that hasn't taken back yet the highs? So you can throw every coin at me, but this is the test you should do. What's your benchmark best? Just take Ethereum, NEO, ETH, and you're going to end up with me explaining about big pippies again. And we can only do that once a show, because that's what your chart looks like. Not as bad as Tron, by the way, but near lows. Tron has a bigger market cap for what it's done before. Nasty sell-off here. You're just off lows against Ethereum. It's not paid you. When did we talk about Ethereum? Was it here? You would have lost 50% of your BTC value by being in NEO, not Ethereum. You would have gone from 68 to half, 34. At your 32 at your lowest point, kicking around 34. Don't do it. Stay with a trend. Don't do it. Be in the best until it changes. We'll see as it changes. We'll see when other things start to assert. We give it some time after it's clear that there's been a change. I mean, this is how I did. I stood on the stage in Acapulco and said in February, and I had prepared this and said it before on YouTube's, but this was a public appearance recorded on camera, not just by my team, but by other people, and said, short oil, long gold. You're commodity neutral. You're going to come off great. That was February. Why? I did the oil versus gold chart, and it was the best thing I'd seen. Gold losing value for a sustained trend against oil getting relatively expensive from the 90s through the 2000s, major inflection point, and changing channel up. I just did the right chart. I do 360-degree views. We discussed it in our premium community. We were short Plains All-American, a pipeline company with Tullow. We were short cruise liner, CCL, Carnival. We didn't know we were trading COVID. We were trading COVID. And we were long gold. And it moonspiked. Absolutely moonspiked gold's relative valuation to oil. It was the best single trade of the game because of relative assessment markets. You can do this too. I'm giving you this fact for free right here. It's up to you to go carry on and implement it, or to be around people that are doing it all the time. And you can decide. That's up to you. But it doesn't make sense. None of the coins, these people, you can all shout out every coin, and some of them are lower down the scale, less liquid, and doing crapper. Don't do it. Why? Bad execution, which is one of the most important things. Most of you are using market orders when you should be using limit orders and panic buying. You need liquidity. And the other thing is, you're just killing money. You're not adding value. Is your BTC valuation going up? Is your ETH valuation going up? For me, the benchmark is my Ethereum valuation going up? Because that's the best stable, consistent, almost hold and hodl coin that you should have right now. And I haven't always done that. I've shorted ETH against Bitcoin. You see, I don't marry coins. I tell you what's working at the time. That's it. Many of these things won't exist. NEO is almost like a thing I made money on and I haven't looked at since because it ceased to be relevant. Okay, good. We've got the better part of 599 people. Hit the like, hit the share. Grab a mini series, totally free if you don't have money. Book a call if it works for you. If you're interested, we're going to have to cut off trading metamorphosis programs. We've got a lot of people that have come in. I've been warning about this for a bit. We may actually, during part of this, or we'll just have to do a suspend. You can go on a waiting list. You can do the sell study and maybe later upgrade. That moment is coming. We need to make sure all our new people get sufficient attention and bed down. And we're expanding platforms and webinars. We've got a new newbie session coming on our premium that is geared around the Australian time zone, Hong Kong, East Asia. That will be back in force coming very, very soon. Absolutely awesome. Great. Mr. Zishan, very popular, all the way from California Yeah, the blue state that they're all running from. He'll be on there. Well loved by all the guys in the premium. Lots of people all geared to helping you learn how to make the best out of reset trading, guys. This is a polarizing event. I will say what I continue to say. There will be people left with no chips. There will be lots of little pippies in this world. Don't be one of them. Go out there and make sure that you're making good decisions with your money so that you build real wealth that can buy you options in a freedom compressing environment. You need it. And this is an opportunity where things will move far faster than they ever have, which is why many people make slow money in good seasons. They make huge, quick money in crises, but the rest are all falling on their backsides. Do not be that person. We're here to specifically trade the reset so you can be freedom lifestyle for the rest of your life from a home-based work environment. You do not have to be in a corporation. You do not have to wear a mask. You do not have to travel in public transport and be screamed and shouted at because your mask isn't tight enough and all this other garbage that they're throwing at you. You could even refuse a vaccine and stay at home and live in a palatial place and pop out to a few unique special places for wealthy people where you don't need masks, vaccines and chips. And that's what I intend to do. And that's what I want to manifest for everybody who's entrusted me with their hard-earned. And go out there, watch Ethereum. Let's see if it does the business. It's a probability-based game. It can fail, but we like it. And I'll be seeing you on Twitter at the Crypto Sniper. Don't forget, and we'll say goodbye and say to you, enjoy your weekend. Thanks for coming on.